What's going on, traders? Welcome to the one, the only live trading with Benzinga. I got my people with me. You guys already know who they are. If you don't, welcome to them. Let's go ahead and bring them on. I got Ryan Faloona. I got Yolo Zunaid in the house. What's going on, guys?
What's up? What's up? You got Ryan in the office today.
Right?
Live from the
gotta get his
Benzinga
name here.
HQ. And here's the thing, Zunaid, you were pretty much showing up the rest of us. Every time we were coming on here, you were in a different state, different country, different hotel. So I was like, you know what? I'm traveling to the office. I better bring my A game. Zunaid's trading when he's on the road. I better trade when I'm on the road. I don't have my computer. I got a makeshift setup, but you know what? We're here to find some trades.
I hope you were more profitable than I was while trading out of the hotel.
That is yet to be seen, but here we are, and we are going to give it a shot.
That's awesome, man.
All right, well, we're getting ready to trade the open here. If you guys got stocks that are on your radar or on the watch list, definitely go ahead and mention them in the chat. Drop down below, hit that like. Let's get it started for the open. We're going to go ahead and live trade for you guys. Now, you guys do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. If you're brand new to this show, this is where we go ahead and jump into these stocks. What are we seeing in the overall market? We did see a little bit of a pullback in the pre-market hours. Now starting to bounce back a little bit. Let me go ahead and bring my chart up here so we can at least take a quick look at the SPY. Then we'll go into trades from Ryan and Zunaid. We'll see if we can get back above this 429.50. He's been fighting to get it in the pre-market hours. We'll see if we can get that towards the open. Q's also looking strong, at least in the pre-market, starting to bounce back. We'll see if it can get back up there through 355 today. That's kind of the level that I'm looking for on the Q's. And we'll see if we can get some bounce back today. What are you guys thinking out there, Ryan and Zunaid?
So today, as soon as I woke up and I looked at the market, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have volatile October, right? We were down the day before, up yesterday. Looks like we're gonna open lower again today." So whenever this happens, it's okay for me to day trade. I'm going to be looking for relative strength. I'm going to be looking for what stocks are trading up on volume despite the market being blasted, and how does that market sentiment shift throughout the day? Mitch, I know you talk all the time about the 10-10-30 reversal. Let's see what happens if we continue to sell off the open here. Maybe we have a reversal to the upside around that time. So I want to keep an eye on what's going on. As far as individual stocks, I'm going to look at some of the big gappers today. We got your VYGR, Voyager Therapeutics here. The trading higher if the company announced the license option agreement with Pfizer. This is, I'm not sure that I, would take this long term, but as far as this pre-market goes today, great volume, great defined levels. I'm going to wait for some of these, and I'm probably just going to scalp this stock. And then the other thing that I'm going to watch is BTBT. A number of our chat members said they're going to watch this all day. Bitcoin really having a great couple of days here.
Yes,
really encouraged by the Bitcoin trading. So I'm going to watch BTBT. This one seems to trade along with the others.
All right. It was also mentioned in the chat by Toronto the Great. So definitely we're looking at that BTBT. Any YOLO trades out there, Zunaid? What are you looking at? What's on your radar?
Yeah, no YOLO trades just yet, but I am looking at Netflix, right? Has had a great week so far. Looking for a dip to 625, 626 area with a stop loss at 624. Looking for that kind of a dip buy to make a move towards 640s and 650s, hopefully this week. That would be really nice. And then I think Palantir obviously had great news yesterday after hours, right? So if that starts to kind of run up, I believe it was up 8% or so. I'll look to dip by that around $24, 24.30 or so, with a stop loss under 24. Looking for it to get to 25s and 26. So that's two of them right there. BTBT is definitely one of them for me there. There's another one that what was it? Let me take a look here. Oh, Square. I know Kathy Woods had purchased quite a few of these along with Hood. So if that catches momentum, that'll be something that I'll trade as well. I want to really quick, if we can share my screen, talk about CEI.
We're sharing it, bro.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. So obviously a stock that, went from, good God, what was it? $3 or so? Yeah, 320, right? And the reason I want to bring this up is because I typically do not trade stocks like these just because it doesn't, I don't know the best way. I don't know their personalities and things like that. But what I do know is psychological numbers. And so the reason I bring this up is because for me, I knew that $1 was going to be a strong level to hold. So I had purchase prices at like $1.05, $1.02, and then $1. Unfortunately, I didn't get filled at the dollar, but everything else I pretty much got. And you can see the nice movement that it had back. Now, I didn't capture the whole move with the full size because obviously I want to scale out. But I just wanted to show that, hey, that's those psychological numbers such as 1, 2, whatever, VWAP rejections, all those things come into play, right? So in terms of risk reward, you go ahead and get in around $1.05, get out at 95. That was my plan, right? That's 10 cents that you're risking. And of course, you know that VWAP is around 160. So you have a potential 60-cent move. You scale out throughout the time. If you're looking to go short, you go ahead and try to, get short around VWAP with the stop loss right above. But I just want to point that out because these are the same types of principles and techniques or whatever that I'll be using throughout the day that we have been using, especially when it comes to stocks such as Palantir and all of that.
All right. I wanted to go ahead and jump in here for a second before you get into talking about that stock and Palantir. Want to pull up Zunaid? What happened last week, dude?
We were talking about be something else. If it gets to around $3, might be worth.
We were talking about CEI on Friday,
right here. And what did I say? What did I say?
We have you right here. Let's listen to you.
Come on, you're a little.
Are you taking it or are you just saying it? I'm not saying. Look, you have to understand. This isn't something I'm telling my grandma to invest for 401k. There you go. There you go. Right. This is for, hey, I go ahead and get a 20-cent scalp out of it. I'm good making $500 or whatever it is. Okay. But if you're going to short it, tell me where you're shorting it.
Well, I would short it right when it breaks 350 and hold to 375. I think that has a topping pattern at 4.
It went to 285
for the next month or so. But the reason why also is
it went to 485. You're saying it doesn't even do it again? Back.
It doesn't go through that mark again. $4.
Good call.
But my thing with this one is
you better hope someone doesn't catch you on Twitter because they're about to clip this.
They shouldn't clip it. Clip it. I say it all the time.
Hey, props to you. I don't know if it's over. Hang on, wait. Props to you for calling the short.
Hey, what can I say?
That I wouldn't go over. Well, so let me ask you this, right? And by the way, it did bounce. I'm looking on Friday. It did bounce off of $3 1, 2, 3 times, and it went all the way to 336. But anyway, we've got a few minutes here. What was it about the stock or the technicals that you saw that made you so confident and obviously correct as well? That it would not go back above $4 or so.
This is one of those that you just have to understand where the hype is. And this is what I talked about. And so a lot of the time when you have a stock that's super trending when the market was going down, because that's what was happening. CEI was making this move when the market was taking a downturn. And what I thought was with that news that we got, we started focusing on different plays. We were looking at reopening plays. We were looking at cruise lines. We were looking at cheaper names, EVs. So the eyes started going everywhere else instead of all pinned on CEI. With that being mentioned, I thought that it was just overcrowded, and that's why it would break down. It's not necessarily only technicals, it's more psychological look, and that's why I thought it would be breaking down from that point.
I like it, man. Well played for sure. And of course, it broke that $3 yesterday, and it's just been a tumble on down to $1. We have someone in the chat, by the way, saying, I believe it was Victor, who said, how do we prepare for the beginning of next week and to prepare for a government shutdown? I'll go ahead and just say this. I don't necessarily swing trade quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So for me, doesn't necessarily matter what happens overnight or whatever. I'm mainly looking for, whatever happens during the day. So I can't best answer in terms of how to prepare besides just reminding everyone that cash is a position. So if you can't figure out the best risk reward to go long and or short in terms of swing, go cash. That's a position. That's my 2 cents there.
Yeah, real quick, just to kind of finish up the conversation on CEI, I do want to shout Zunaid out for saying he wasn't telling anyone to put it in their 401k. The entire group said that. The entire group prepared you to not hold this and swing this for multiple days and to only stick to day trades. Still, Mitch, great call.
Absolutely.
You pretty much hit that spot on. Now, as far as Victor's question about preparing for the government shutdown, I agree. There's no way that I would actually trade this. These really haven't been big events in the past. I'm not sure that it's really going to create an opportunity that I'm going to be able to forecast. So instead of trying to plan for an event that has unknowns on the other side, I'm actually just going to react to that event. As far as I'm concerned, government shutdown or not, none of the longer term positions that I have are going to be affected by that. Apple's not going to close shop because the U.S. government shuts down. Several of the micro caps I have, like Chara, they're not going to their fundamental thesis doesn't change because of the government shutdown. So instead, I'm going to look to try and take advantage of some of the knee-jerk reactions that we get after all of the news has filtered its way through the system.
Yeah, no, for sure. We
All
got
right.
folks in the chat, by the way, talking about Bitcoin that's
Yeah,
blasting
Bitcoin's
off.
putting in a monster
Exactly.
candle right now.
And
I got it on my
BT,
screen.
you mentioned that one,
Perfect.
Ryan. Already making a nice move here in the pre-market as well.
I
They
got
couldn't
you
wait.
a
They
couple
couldn't
names
wait.
there. I've been watching and calling out a couple names in that same area. So BTCM is one I'm going to be watching to get strong today through 10. That's not a bad looking chart. I'll show you guys this one. Nice sideways action. I've been calling this one out for 3 days now. This would be the third day move, but we'll see if it can continue moving through 10 today. That's BTCM. Another one that I like that I think can get a big run because I saw Mara run. I saw BT run. I'm going to be looking for Riot to catch a bid today. I like it because you got multiple bottoms here to go off of that 25.50 area, and then you could attack the breakout through the highs. Right now it's 27.50. Kind of give yourself maybe even a 27 on the risk side here. But I do like this name. Whenever I start seeing other names in industries in the same industry start taking a lift, I look for what's called the laggard play. I look for a trade that's struggling to get off the lows, but if the industry continues to make moves in the direction, you should see a little push here in Riot. It's definitely more of a laggard for me in this trade. I'll be looking for that to make a move today.
Saul's asking, if the government shuts down, do you still pay taxes? Yes. Yes, sir. Life, death, and taxes are going to be your certainties in life. You just can't go to the forest preserve because the park rangers aren't at work. I mean, pay your taxes, my man.
Yeah, even in Antarctica, you're going to have to pay some taxes. Let's keep going here. One that I do want to take a look at, and I'm wondering about shorts, Zunaid, and maybe you can take a look, is I'm still thinking Tesla here because the market keeps fighting here to get above 800. And to me, I think it gives you a good level to go off of on the risk to return. I did look at some of the options, but they're just so expensive.
They are, yeah.
It's just so hard to pay for these, man. So I'm thinking about it today. I'm wondering what we get. If we do get a breakdown in the overall market and the Qs turn back around to the downside, I think you could really see this one maybe make a move towards 780 right out the gates, but then just flush through 750. Let's see what happens. I was really bullish on Tesla for the end of the year. And so for me to change here, it's going against my own call for the year. But sometimes you have to be willing to reverse if you're not just seeing the price action in the way that you're looking for it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think 780 is a good level to try to, go short. So if it breaks 782 or so, you can get stopped out. For me, yeah, wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 750 and then it kind of has a bounce. At least that's where I would try to go long. Yeah. Around 765 would be a little bit of a test for me to kind of go long. Cool. Didn't work. I'd go ahead and stop out of it. And then 750 for sure is where it's like, cool, 751, 752. I'm starting to grab a few shares, and then 748, I'm out. But on the short side, yeah, same thing, right? You can try it at 780. The best time, I guess you can say, would have been obviously 800. It did peak above, so you would have been stopped out. But then when it comes back down for the second trade that you can get into, that would have worked out well for you. But yeah, it all depends on how the market obviously participates as well. We can keep an eye on it for sure.
All right, guys, we got about 7 minutes towards the bell. You guys in the chat, if there's anything standing out to you, call it in the chat. That's what it's all about. It's about you guys out there, and that's why we do this show, really. So if you guys got a stock to take a look at, definitely let us know. Especially if you got a story. You guys know how I like my stories. So if you guys got a catalyst that you guys are looking for, or maybe even looking for something coming up in the next couple of weeks, definitely put it in the chat. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say, if government shutdown was in Vegas and they had the odds, I definitely take the odds against the shutdown. I don't think we're going to shut down here. And if you guys do see the line in Vegas, give me a call because I'll start putting some money on it. We'll see what happens with that. But government shutdowns have never, ever, in my eyes, really affected the market.
Yeah, same with me. And I'd be right there with you, ready to take that bet. Let me really quickly, before we start hitting some of these stocks, thanks guys for throwing them out. Let me hit what Tom said here. Hey Ryan, you have to be able to get us to trade from the platform so we never have to leave to trade everything else. It's here in one place.
100%.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The development team wants that. The leadership team wants that. The traders want that. You'll notice on my screen that I've got this buy and sell button up here. That's because we actually already started this process. The company that we were working with ended up getting bought out, so we had to reprioritize some of our development. Believe me, this is still coming. I cannot give you a timeline here today, but I can tell you that this is on the way. Everyone else wants it. It's a great idea. We will eventually be moving that way.
Hey, like always, guys, smash the like for Benzinga Pro. We're getting at you guys. We give you guys a free 2-week trial. If you've never used this platform that you see right now on the screen, definitely check it out. You don't even need a credit card. I think that's really the most important part. You know, so many services will try to get you with that credit card trick. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to let you use the product, use the service. Also ask us questions if you need help with the platform. That's what we're here for. Yes, and we'll continue helping you get to that next level with Benzinga Pro. All right. So one thing, of course, that I think we'll be making improvements on in the future, guys, I've been really pushing is our charting services. We'll definitely get towards the next level in our charting. I think that will be a really big step up. But like always, if you have feedback, give it to us, because that's what we're all about at Benzinga. We want to make our products and services better every single day. And like Ryan always says, if we can get 5% better every single day, we can definitely head towards a great goal. Let's keep going. Zunaid, what do you got out there? Anything popping up? Anything you thinking?
Nothing.
I'm worried about Apple. You know, could it ever get back above that 150?
Yeah, it definitely will. Just again, the market's got to play ball with you. But we can also, you know, talk about MRNA now.
Let's take a look.
Set your alerts. Matter of fact, I'm about to do mine right now. Around $300, 302, I believe, is where I have mine set, because around that is where, again, you can get a nice scalp off of 300. But I wouldn't be surprised. It's currently looking like it's at 317. Would not be surprised for it to come all the way down to around 305, 302 or so, and then maybe bounce up a little bit for you to get a little bit of action on it. But yeah, if we get a little bit of movement, especially a 15-minute breakdown or anything like that at MRNA, that's definitely something that I will look to play. Netflix, I believe we already talked about Netflix, right? Yeah. Already talked about Netflix. Let's see if there's some other. Oh, Facebook is something else that's had a crazy run. There was a $6 million worth of options contract that was purchased on Facebook. We called it out on the option squawk with Benzinga that were experimenting. And so it's interesting because they were dealing with the whole whistleblower thing. They still are, but there were still big, you know, call buying that was happening. And so the stock, you know, as you can see, reacted very well to that. So let's see if you get continuation on that end. So that's something else I'm watching. And then MasterCard had another massive buying. As you can see, it started to kind of curl up here a little bit when they started buying. It didn't exactly hold, so I want to see what MasterCard does. Wouldn't be surprised if it tries to get to that 350 area at the very least. Currently looks like it's at 340.
All right, guys, jumping in here. I want to go ahead and try to get us towards 200 likes. We got over 500 people joining. We've had over 200 people join since we've gone live. So if you guys are just coming in, hit the like button for the live trading on Benzinga. We do this every single day, absolutely for free. You know, and this is what it's all about, guys. You know, I know that you guys like to trade with a community, and that's really what we're trying to build here with live trading with Benzinga, is have a community that could support each other, call out what is moving, and then everybody take your own risk analysis. This is not a copycat trading type of chat. This is all about learning process from each other. And for that being mentioned, you could also learn a lot from our chat. I know there's a lot of loyals that trade every single day and are definitely working towards their craft. I did see mention of any in the chat. Any is a Bitcoin type of play that I actually called out yesterday. And I was looking for a push through 650s yesterday. Big thing was going to be for $6 hold. And if you can look yesterday, that's kind of exactly what we got in any. And so I'm looking to see this one rip. I really do like this daily chart, and I'm going to explain why, guys. One thing is my rule of three. As you guys can see, I've kind of drawn out the peaks and troughs here, looking for this to continue on up, probably make a move towards 750 today. And what I like is multi-time frame patterns, right? I talk about this all the time. You want to be able to see the same pattern on multi-time frames. So let's say if you step back and you looked at it on a 5-minute, you could see this pattern holding well. If you took a look at it on the 15, you could see it doing well. Same kind of pattern. If you look on the hourly, same kind of pattern. Daily, same kind of pattern. That's when patterns usually will have a tendency to hold, and it has a higher probability to actually fulfill the pattern. That's what I always look for. I get this question all the time. Well, why didn't my 1 minute flag hold? Well, did it show up on the 5? Did it show up on the 15? Did you have the multi-time frame approach?
Here we go, folks. We've got the market. I'm also going to keep an eye on SPY, at least for the first 15 minutes, to see what happens there.
Let's take a look here. I'm going to call it out from the open. You guys know how I like to call out the change from the open, because to me, that's what matters more than what the pre-market looks like, because what I'm looking for is certain sectors to go from, let's say, red in the morning to green right at the open, or even from green to red. I want to see that transition right when the market opens.
I'm also taking a look at Hive here, ticker HIVE on this Bitcoin move. This one could go. It's up a little bit in the pre-market, so I really kind of want to wait. It's 312 is the pivot spot, is the first resistance spot. We're kind of hugging on there. I want to see what happens. Big bid coming in now.
I'm keeping an eye. I went ahead and grabbed a small size on Palantir. Let me get you the exact fill. $25 calls got filled at 70 cents. Again, this is more so of I believe, it'll get a little bit of a push. Obviously, it can easily get rejected by 25. So I'm treating it more so as a YOLO on Palantir, $25 calls that expire next week.
When you're long-term holding and you can't watch the stock. It's been so hard for me to do these kind of more long-term investments. I've been trying to get into that this year, which is so hard for me. I don't know how it is for you, Zunaid or Ryan, but I'll definitely talk about it. One of the things that happens to me is that since I trade so often, it's very hard for me to think like 2 years or 3 years out, at least in investments. So that's why it's always good to have those separate accounts. I do have one stock that I want to transfer from my trading account to my investment account, because I keep taking a look at it and I'm like,
That'll definitely impact your mental for sure. No question about that.
The big thing for me with investment accounts is that keeping them separate, I think, is a really great idea, especially for newer traders, because if you keep all of it in the same account, you might actually go above that pattern day trader, make some mistakes, and then have to liquidate some of your long-term positions in order to cover for some of your mistakes. You can avoid that completely simply by separating the accounts. And I think that doesn't get talked about enough. The other thing, Mitch, to what you were saying, I try not to apply short-term studies, indicators, or strategies to stocks that I have a long-term fundamental outlook for. I'll give you an example. Ticker CHRA. I believe ticker CHRA, Chara Solutions, is going to be a 10x trade over the course of 5 to 6 years. If I were to try to trade that now and apply short-term studies to that, I would completely chop myself up and I would ruin my investment position. Best to try and keep everything separate.
Yep. That's why you got to know what time frame your trade is in. What are you looking at? Are you looking for a weekly move, daily move? Are you looking for a 5-minute move? You have to know your time frame, because this is going to help you go ahead and trade with that pattern and not move into different time frames where, let's say, if the 5-minute pattern is breaking down, but the 15-minute traders are looking at something else. This is why you use multi-time frames. It's a lot of it has to do with more psychology than the actual levels that each trader is trading. But think about it. 1-minute traders are looking at different patterns than 5-minute traders, then 15-minute. But when you get them all to converge on one pattern, like I was talking about, the multi-time frame pattern, that's when you're going to get more momentum in the one direction, which could help you get a massive move. All right, let's go ahead and catch up with the chat. All right, from the open, I can tell you right now, there's only one thing in the green, and it's not a good sign. It's energy. Energy meaning what? That the more than likely the SPY is heading down right now. Let's take a look at the SPY, see what we're seeing here. And we're actually getting a little bit of a pop right now. So let's see what happens now. If we can start holding this, you can start seeing some of these that are in the red turn into green. As they turn into green, I'll go ahead and call them out.
Yeah, the SPY, we're up off the lows. The question will really be, do we go green? Do we do a red-green move and then hold that red-green move, or are we rejected at red-green? And I think one of the things that you're going to see is when that direction is decided, you're going to see some of these other plays materialize. All of the stocks that I was kind of looking at this morning really haven't produced a particular play. Like Voyager is up. That's obviously the big winner of the day. I haven't really found a good level to scalp that at. Hive kind of took a dive. Didn't even try for that to rhyme, but it did. Hive kind of took a dive right out of the open. I really want to see some of these things settle. Where are we at on Bitcoin here? I actually took that off my screen. Bitcoin's still hovering just below 55K. We're at 54K right now. A little bit of a back test here wouldn't be out of the cards at all. So I'm kind of waiting for stuff to settle down. I have not seen any really good opportunity yet this morning, guys.
All right, taking a look here. Let's take a look at any. How did any do? And there you go. That was the one right there.
It sure was.
Any right out the gates, up there towards 675. And man, I wish I would have been able to have a day trade yesterday. I would have taken this one. Probably swung it into the close. But that's how the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Got to get some more money. Need some more money, guys. You guys out there in the chat, who has the 25K donation?
The 25K donation. Oh my God.
I like it.
The PET donation.
And as far as any goes, just to kind of close the book on this one, 652 was your spot, right? We busted that in pre-market. We back tested it twice in the regular session. We're pushing up off of that now. 20 plus cents here on that move. Really nice day trading opportunity right out of the gate. Definitely. Chat was on it. Chat, pat yourself in the back. You guys were on that. We did not have that up here.
That's what I like to see. Definitely, guys. Let's take a look at Palantir here. What did it do out the gates? Looks like we're pulling back down towards 2450s. A level that is interesting for me is going to be somewhere near this right here, because this is where you kind of had a little bit of a slowdown in the momentum yesterday. I was actually watching this live on Money Mitch when it started popping. Someone called it out in the chat. We watched it move. And right there around 24.41 and 68, there was a little bit of a kind of a slowdown in the momentum. Let's see if this is where it catches the bid right here, 24.50.
Yeah, so far Palantir can't get over VWAP.
Yeah.
Voyager coming back in. You might have a bounce at 378. Also ticker HUT, H-U-T. Looks like it's trying to take out 11. Looks like it's trying to take out that round number at 11. It stopped there. It's got pretty good volume out of the gate here. So you might have a pop there if we actually end up taking out 11.
Man, if the market, so I'm looking at Netflix here, right? It bounced off of that 625, 626 level, but it's trying to go. Oh, sorry, you in a trade? My bad.
No. I actually didn't take it. It actually snapped through a little quickly for my
trade. You're fine.
Now
I didn't know if I was.
I don't even know if we're going to hold it here, but it did take out that 11 level. Coming back here, I think if we push back up through that level, there might be another trade, but it didn't really pop much above that.
I gotcha.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, my man.
No, you're fine. I wasn't sure if I was interrupting you. But yeah, Palantir, though, I do have an alert set at around $24.10 to try to see if I can get a scalp in there. Netflix, these options can move wild, but the market's just red, right? So it's a little tough, or else I'd go ahead and grab Netflix 640s here at $5, which I guess you can go ahead and do, but just know that if this snaps through 630 level, you're going to end up losing probably about 20% right off the bat. And the way the market is, chances are high of it doing that. So be mindful of it.
Well, if you traders don't know out there, definitely October is one of the highest volatility months, at least from back testing that you can see. it's one of the months where, at least if you look in the back test, you'll see a lot of over 1% moves in the overall market. And that's when we start getting that volatility to start coming back up. So definitely we've been seeing that. I mean, think on the last couple of days of the SPY, you're seeing over 1% moves every single day. And with this being said, yes, this is like day traders. This is what we want as day traders, but as swing traders, it can start definitely hurting and affecting you when you're seeing that volatility where it just pops up, comes down, and pops up. You get stopped out often. So this is kind of more, always know the environment that you're in, and look at it on a short term, middle term, and long term basis. On the short term right now, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of stop outs and seeing high volatility in swing trades where even daily setups are just not holding right now. So look for momentum to be quick. And that's what I'm seeing right now, at least from my perspective.
I would agree with that. And Mitch, I think one more thing I would add to that is don't be afraid to be nimble, right? If the market's going to change with it. And if you don't necessarily need to change your entire strategy, you just need to make some minor adjustments in order to stick around with what's going on. I saw Pete here shouting out SAVA, 2+ points off the opening bar on SAVA. Definitely. Tough. This has been a tough one to trade. If you hit this, Pete, I'd love to hear what the levels that you were looking at. It looked like we really kind of bounced off the pre-market low, and as soon as the market opened, we got volume to flow in here. That took us +2 points here. We're coming back in from that. As far as SAVA goes, I really want to see this pre-market high taken out. I think things could really get wild if we take out 61.50. But nice move off the open there. This one's been a tough trader. This one's definitely been a tough trader. I want to believe that long term we're going to be good here, but for right now, I'm just trying to scalp this. Would love to hear the levels that you were looking at on SAVA.
Yeah, I'm trying to see here what I can see. At least I don't see too much on here. I even drew the fibs. The fibs, it kind of held that 23.6, but we'll see if we can get back through the 59.50 level. That's such an important level right now. If it can hold VWAP. So what you did here was, what I like to see is when you get back above VWAP, right? Then you come back to it. You want to hold that and then get above and hold any pullbacks to it. It's looking good right now on that VWAP attempt. If you're trying to hold towards, let's say, this low right here. So you're talking about 58.15. We'll see what happens if we can get through 60. If we get through 60, we have that next level up look where I think you could get to 60.30s, 60.50s. Let's see what happens on SAVA. Not a bad looking trade, not a bad setup.
No, and it actually looks like we're bouncing here off of this level too. I think you might have a potential trade. You clear out 59.50, there's your entry trigger. So we're about 50 cents away from that. 59.50 going to be right here, right? We take this out. I think we actually push through 60. You can definitely get a trade there. So let's keep watching SAVA. Pete, thanks for the shout out on SAVA. I actually didn't have it on my screen.
Netflix, by the way, off of that off of the 630 level, $5 contracts that we got. They're now about 650. I went ahead and closed out half of them. Still going to try to get over this red to green and go with volume. So that's what I'm looking for, volume to come in. And my target would be about 7 for the rest, or for the half of what's remaining. And then the rest, I'm going to try to let it ride at least to about 640, 650 on Netflix.
All right, catching up with the chat here. Some people calling out Palantir resistance at 25. Someone's talking about Baba, Love EA, Roblox pairs trade in the holidays. We also saw talk in the chat. They were talking about CCJ, the uranium trade still on. Easy Mike talking about. We'll definitely keep up with that. Hey, you guys let us know what you're seeing out there in the chat. We'll bring it to the stream. All right, so right now, Q's looking strong. I don't know if you saw this, guys, but Q's really looking strong right out the gates. I'm going to see if we get that 9:45 to 10 a.m. reversal. But right now, technology in the green, really starting to get us back up here. Calling out some big names here. I could go by capitalization, call it the biggest ones, but I'm just going to do the biggest movers here. NCTY, BTCS, NE. NE's back at VWAP, so if you want to take a look off of that one, it's interesting. Palantir starting to come back through 2450s. Let's see if it gets through the VWAP. Bragg, OLB, Riot, not looking too bad. It did pop there at the gates. Now coming back towards VWAP. Let's see if it holds this VWAP. It's back up there through 28. It's at 27.48 right now. HUT showing up there, BitF showing up there also, MSTR. You're talking a lot of Bitcoin stocks on here, CLSK. Though definitely that's standing out. Consumer cyclicals did go into the green, but if I look at my industries here on the right-hand side, there's only one that's just barely in the green, and that's gambling. And really, it's a Bitcoin stock, BTCM. I talked about this one. I'm looking for a breakout through $10. We'll see if this one can continue to move and make another leg up. Other than that, I'm seeing a lot of weakness actually in the sectors and industries. We'll see if this starts changing.
Yeah, keep an eye on NVIDIA. I went ahead and grabbed one contract of the 210 calls expiring this week. Got them for about $1.20. And DNA, I believe, is a short that's happening over at.
There you go.
What's the Scorpion Capital is short DNA. So keep an eye on that stock, especially if it $10 is where you can try to play like a quick bounce, right? So set your buy orders at $10.05, but put a stop loss at $9.95. In case anything crazy happens. But that's another stock that I'm looking for a quick bounce scalp type situation. But if you're going to try to short it, you can short it right underneath the VWAP for it to fail.
Real quickly, Slippery Itch. Ryan, what are we doing in the office? We are hanging out with the team. I absolutely love the office. I come out here at least once a quarter. COVID is not spreading around the workplace. I wouldn't even need a trip to confirm that. Just a phone call. We'll handle that. BTBT, closed position. Saul, hope you did okay on BTBT. You know, one of the other stocks that looks like it's setting up with the Bitcoin move here is TCAT, which is an NFT play. Looks like we're pushing kind of off this, what is this, the 728 level. We have a day high of 746. I would imagine that gets attacked at some point today. Let me pull that up here on Pro. I would imagine that this high gets attacked some here today. This looks strong on volume, and this normally trades pretty well with Bitcoin. So this would be another one here to watch.
All right, guys.
Yeah, it's coming on here. I might actually take a stab at this.
On TCAT?
Yeah, this is I want to call this a YOLO, but it's not a options YOLO like you do. So I don't want to misuse your terminology here and disgrace you live. So, but I do kind of want to take this because it just feels like this is going higher to me. It feels like. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna do this small. We're in TCAT here. 736, looking for about 15-20 cents here on a pop. Oh, real quickly, Christopher in the chat here. Nice to see you again. You asked if Facebook was going to zero. Honestly, I don't like Facebook, but I still don't see it going to zero. They have a huge ad business. There's a ton of people across the world that don't have Facebook yet that eventually are going to have access to that. I don't see it going to zero, despite me not liking it. But I'd love to, and I know that you're trading a lot of those big caps with options, so I'd love to hear how you're actually trading that. Zunaid, have you traded Facebook recently?
Facebook, yeah, when those options came a couple of days ago, the $6 million worth that I was talking about earlier, I did, but that's really about it. Nothing that I've like really swung or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah. For me, it's been a no touch recently, to be quite honest with you, but I know that it's going to have some opportunity. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Sorry, I actually just realized that my name was all goofy. I'll go ahead and change that. I was a little sarcastic about Facebook going to zero, but it looks crappy. I would agree with that. I do think it looks crappy. Totally understand.
What's your stop loss going to be on TCAT?
Let's take a look here, right? So your pivot here is going to be at 728. I want to give it maybe a little bit more than that. I would say my 725 here. We really start to take out 725. I think I'm probably out here and just, move on to a different trade.
Yeah, we're on the same page. I was thinking about 720, just right below VWAP that we'd have to go ahead and get out of it. Yeah.
And so that lines up with just below VWAP. I was actually looking at a pivot point here, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, again, with these NFT plays, I mean, they're all over the place. The other thing about TCAT here, spread's actually a little bit tighter now, but for the most part, the spread sometimes can be 10 cents in a stock like this. It's hard to really scalp that when you have a thin stock with a wide spread like that. So, right now, though, I don't have a lot of shares. I have kind of a smaller position in this. I mean, if I take the L on it, I take the L on it. It's not going to send me to the poorhouse. So, but I do think we pop. And the other thing about these NFT stocks is when they do pop, they are the type of stocks that can really, really move. And I don't like being in stocks that are halted, but if this gets popped and trades up into a halt, I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to exit.
There you go. Yeah, it's coming around that 723 area right
Yep.
now. Even the NVIDIA trade isn't quite working.
TCAT reversing here. So yeah, so if we don't get a pop back up here, I actually didn't have a stop set. It's just kind of a mental, and we're right beneath it. So kind of playing with fire right now. I'd be looking for this to kind of pop back up. If I don't see any buy, any type of buy strength coming in here, I might just close this one out and call it a loss. But we will see. Now, let me take a look on my other screen here. How is Bitcoin reacting? Because again, some of these things trade along with Bitcoin. Still holding above 54,000, right? So to me, and if we're looking at this Bitcoin chart, to me, the action here looks like this does want to turn back up towards the high. I know we're kind of in like a recent downturn here on this 1 minute candle, but this formation, it looks like we want to go higher. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely going to keep an eye on that. I'm trying to look around. NVIDIA's coming to test that VWAP area. Again, the market just doesn't quite want to participate. Let me go ahead and draw out the 15 minutes on that at least. I'm going to go ahead and... 205s.
I got like a track.
Yeah, I got the 205 calls at $2 and what is it? $2.52, and my stop loss
Netflix?
will be no NVIDIA 205s. So let's see how that goes.
Pull it up here.
Looks like SPY's rolling over a little bit here. Interesting if that bounce was just kind of reactionary. Yeah, we're definitely rolling over here. We're taking out the big green candle that we had out of the open. So
yeah, I kind of was scared about that. The 945 turnaround, right?
945 turnaround. Good call out by Chris here, though. Long SPY right here at 430.
Look at this, guys. Look at this 945 candle. That right there. That right there. That just shows you that 945 turnaround. Look at that thing. Look right back down. We'll see if the SPY gets to hold VWAP here and comes back towards the highs. That's what we want to see for the longs, but we'll see if this turns around. Qs, how are those turning around? Did kind of the same thing. 945 candle, and what happens? Turn around. It's common, guys. Day traders, if you guys haven't kind of looked for this before, I definitely always look for this.
So, Chris, looks like you're playing a call spread, a near-term call spread for Friday on the SPY, but you're also in the 428 put, so you're hedged to the downside as well. So it looks like you're pretty set up no matter what we're doing here today.
Oof, I like that approach. Volatility approach. I was thinking about maybe I don't do these often, but I've heard about them. Iron condors. Ryan, have you ever done any of those?
No. Yeah. So iron condor is great way to position yourself. Never actually done those before. Multi-leg advanced option strategies like that, I don't dive into them without practicing them first. And to be quite honest with you, I've been doing all right with just calls and puts. That's the next step for me, though. Looking into some of those, because being able to distribute your risk like that, really, really helpful, especially for long-term gains.
Yeah, definitely. You need a little bit bigger account to kind of be doing those kind of trades, but definitely I think it's a great way to balance out the risk in options. I think it's the reason why I don't take too much options trades, is that a lot of times I feel I can't hedge out that risk. And even though, yeah, you can, get in and out, a lot of people talk about that, but I just don't like the liquidity of options. And so with that being said, I mean, you can get out, but that's just someone's going to take the contract, right? Sometimes you get into these smaller names and these smaller options where I've been just sitting out there for a little while, and that's not fun. It's not fun when you're trying to get out and you can't get out.
No, definitely not. Being trapped in a stock is awful. Missing a buy, not the end of the world, right? You can always hit another one. Being trapped in a position, way worse.
Way worse. All right, guys, let's go ahead and I'm going to do a little recap here in the chat. If you guys got a big mover from the open that's still holding on right now because we're seeing a lot of turnarounds, let us know. I'll definitely bring that to the chat and bring it to the stream. Looks like the XLU going bye-bye, usually good for speculation. Let's take a look at the XLU here. Of course, the select utilities ETF here from the Spiders definitely starting to crack down there. And if you guys remember, this is why I like looking at change from the open. Right at the open, what did we get? We got what? Energy to actually lead us, right? It was leading us. It was on the upside. And now if I take a look at it, it's the biggest loser today. It's down 0.84% from the open. So it went from the green to the red. That's a lot of the relationships that I'm trying to look for in the sectors and industry to find where the rotation is. I always talk about that, hey, you got to be quick to find that rotation. If you find that rotation, you can trade it. If not, a lot of times it's more protecting capital because of rotations.
I'll be right back, folks.
Yeah, and really quickly during that move, Bitcoin really turning back down towards the intraday lows, stopped out of the TCAT play for a loss, so 0 for 1 today. We're going to be looking for another. Yeah, no, it's part of the game, man. We're going to be looking for another one here. I'm still going to keep my eye on some of these Bitcoin stocks because it's possible that this turns around. Still a nice move in Bitcoin. Was trying to play some of the momentum, didn't get it. We'll look for another one.
All right, being mentioned in the chat, are you guys Tasty Trade fans? Well, one thing that we don't like to do on Benzinga is knock other people down, right? And so, believe it or not, I am actually a Tasty Trade fan. That's where I actually first started learning options education, and it's a very advanced options education that you can learn from there. A lot of times it's going to be selling premiums, but if you're into that, take a look. You know, one thing that we're trying to do is do more of that options education, and we'll definitely dive deeper. But yes, Tasty Trade is a good resource. Not going to knock them down for no reason.
Yeah, and I also really like the guys over at Tasty Trade. Tom Sosnoff is awesome. I've been watching him since I started this. Really good group of guys. So I like him, and I too, like you, Mitch. I don't like knocking people down. Just because I don't use something doesn't mean that I don't like it, right?
Exactly.
A lot of this comes down to comfort. We're doing something that's difficult, and if you're comfortable with something, that's generally what you stick with. Guys over at Tasty Trade are great.
All right, how do you set
market
up?
Really rolling over here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's important. So call it out, dude. If you see it, call it.
Yeah. So
look, this is it's scary. I'll pull up your chart right now, Ryan, so you can explain what you're seeing. But man, that's a scary downturn there.
Yeah. So basically, you know, and if you think about the psychology here, right? We traded lower into the close. We gapped down slightly. Then this morning we gapped down even more. It looks like we were kind of coming up off those lows. That's great. But now we've kind of I don't have my time here real quick. What about 9:45, right? 9:45. We really just kind of reversed with all selling volume, all red candles here. We'll see if we actually bounce off one of these spots that we carved out in the pre-market. But this is one of those things. Everything is going to trade down with this, just like the Bitcoin TCAT trade that just didn't work out. So too, if you have longs that are against the SPY, this is why you want to pay attention to relative strength in the market here.
Yep, I'm gonna see what happens here, but looks like we're starting to see some stocks definitely start turning back around on the downside. We'll see what happens, and keep an eye on it because we could get a test of the lows. If we get a test of the lows, we're definitely going to be in a kind of a pain situation here. If you look on the hourly chart on the SPY, you can see that chop that we've been talking about. This is what it's about, guys. I mean, if you look here, since the 1st of October, what do we get, right? So the 1st to the 4th, we get a 1.73% move, right? Then on the 4th, what do we get? We get a 1.9% move. On the 5th, what do we get? Down. By the time we open here, we're down 1.38. So a lot of high volatility in the market, fast movement, and that's what we're seeing out there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, how's that for volatility, right? You were just talking earlier about swings being tough and being chopped up. How's that? 2% moves up and down, left and right.
That's definitely hard to trade. And whenever you're in a moment like this is when I start thinking about, hey, I need to protect my capital, because there's times when I say the river is flowing and you need to go risk on. And as a trader, we need to have this ability. But there's also the ability of knowing when you need to be risk adverse and trying not to take big trades in a moment when the overall market is affecting your stock trading ability. So what I mean by that is that you're having macro effects affect your micro trades, because when you're trading a particular trade, just like one stock, you're not trading the whole basket, you're not trading different names, you're trading a micro catalyst that you're looking for momentum in that one name. But when the overall market is affecting that, you need to take that into consideration, because even if you have a good setup in that one trade, the overall market can tell you otherwise.
And real quick, just speaking of looking at the SPY here, it looks like we are bouncing off this 428.50-ish level. This is pretty much where we stopped on the gap down. What was that, yesterday? This morning on our initial gap down, we bounced. We did take another leg lower, so I'm going to be interested to see if we see that again here, but we are bouncing off this same spot that we bounced off of in the pre-market today. So looks like we're trading back down here. Test here is going to be at 428.50.
All right, Lisa Lay Hunt calling out DOCU. Let me take a look at DOCU, see how that one's trading. DocuSign looking strong there. Hey, finding the pocket of strength. That's what I like to see, Lisa. Way to call it out there. DOCU starting to push back up there, looking interesting. Had a nice candle here. And I'm looking at the 1 hour chart. Look at the 15-minute, holding sideways right now at the VWAP. You can kind of take that approach off the 15. Whenever I trade these higher price names over 100, I very rarely go towards the 1 or the 5. I want to stay more in the 15 and the hourly, because since they're bigger stocks, they're going to make kind of less of these really quick moves and more of a continuation pattern. That's what I'm looking for in these. I'll see if right here it can hold 258 on the downside, but it looks interesting. DOCU being mentioned by Lisa. Good call out.
And, you know, as we're doing that, SPY did break down through that 428.50 level a little bit more. Now we're going just towards more of those lows. There's no reason to panic yet. But I think one of the things that we're going to do here, especially early on, is we're going to find out where that bottom actually has support. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of bounce and retest of some lows levels here.
Yeah.
For me, when this happens, unless I have something that's great, that I feel great about, I want to wait until this turns around. Just like you were talking about, Mitch, I don't want what's going on in the macro market to affect the individual trade that I'm trying to put on. So again, just to kind of repeat myself from earlier, looking for relative strength. 426.93 is the morning's low. Thank you, Chris.
All right, guys, that's where I'm actually looking at it right now. I mean, I have 426.95 drawn out, but that's my line right here. I'm really paying attention to that. If you look on the hourly, we fought to get through it here from the 4th to the 5th. We actually wicked a couple times and then came right back up through it. Same thing happened here, kind of that look on the 1st. Let's see what happens if we approach that level right now, because if we do break that, could be heading down to the next level down. To me, that next level down would be taking us closer towards 420s. I definitely don't want to see that, but hey, we're still kind of in the channel here for the SPY, as long as it can keep holding. But man, from the top of the SPY, you can kind of look at where we're at now. We're looking at 5.69% from the highs. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. What's up, Zunaid? How we doing, man?
Yeah, while you guys are talking, I'm looking at the SPY chart. I'm looking to possibly get in for scalps around 427 or so. The only trade that has worked out for me today, besides that Netflix one, which, you know, half of it was profitable, the other half I had to get out of, was that DNA short below VWAP. But besides that, the NVIDIA trade was an L, so definitely not a fun day. I blame Ryan. So it seems like whenever I travel or someone else travels, that's when I lose money. That's the pattern I'm seeing.
All right.
The travel trade.
I get blamed on average for 5 things a day. That is number 1. We will keep track of the others.
Don't worry.
That's awesome. We'll wait for Jason to enter the chat, and I'm sure you'll get number 2 and 3 coming soon.
I didn't say it. It was Zunaid.
Wait, what?
I was thinking Jason too.
Oh, yeah. Oh man,
I was like, Ryan's about to get a call. Yo, Ryan, what's going on, man?
Sorry, I missed that.
Don't worry. You
we're
wanted to
talking about
miss
how
it.
Jason will be the reason that you get blamed 2 or 3 more times here, sure. Especially in the office, he might just sneak up behind you, pal.
Thankfully there's no door behind me. I always consider my exits when I enter a different room. I'm
Smart
okay
man.
right here. I can see everything that's coming at me here. Except for
You
the
gotta
market.
know where the emergency exits are.
You got to know the sight lines, right? I will say I did not see this market downturn coming, unfortunately. So I still got to work on some of the vision that I'm looking for.
So Super SPAC man calling out SNDL. If you guys want to do a little juggling of some knives, he's talking about SNDL. Let's take a look at that. Down to 62 cents. This is one that a lot of people were really bullish on. And I mean, for that sake, I mean, you could take a look and let me pull up my chart so you can see it. Yeah, that's down to 62 cents. How's GROM? This is the one that I was thinking was going to come all the way back down. And I got to be honest, guys, I don't short stocks at all-time highs, but I always wanted to short this one. And for some reason, I never took it. But, man, it is starting to come back down. It has cracked big since that 35.68, heading down towards 22.88. There's actually a support right there. There's a prior resistance from August 19th of 2020. We'll see if it gets back all the way down towards 12 at the end. But GROM definitely retracing a big, massive move there. All right, catching up with the chat. Looks like someone's talking about Apple. There's talks in the chat about, let's keep going in there. We got SQQQ. So some people are doing some leverage trades against the Qs there. So let's take a look here. This is an inverse, of course, your Ultra Pro short here. Not looking too bad. Definitely coming back through the 9. But when you trade these, a lot of the times you have to trade them with high size. And so that's why it's a little bit of a dangerous trade because there's not much, right? Even from the bottom, if you just bought the bottom today, you're talking about a 3% move to if you got the maximum you could have got today. So that's why I got to be careful with these, but they do and are fun to trade, especially as hedges. If you're seeing your stocks go down, could be a way for you to hedge.
Man, I'm not seeing anything that even on
it's
the
that
short
kind of
side.
day. It's that kind of day.
It's kind of like everything's, I don't want to say extended, but I feel like the moves have happened and I have missed them. So now I'm just kind of on the sidelines, just chilling.
This is that choppy chop type of day. I might have to go and get myself, some Pollo Tropical, if you guys know what that is.
You got some options coming into ticker any. Looks like they're buying the $7 calls for next week, putting in about maybe like 40,000 or so. So for folks that enjoy trading that one, that's something that's happening right now.
You can see some people taking that. What little bottoming action there. How did Palantir do?
I'm waiting for SPY to kind of come to the 427, right? So just flush another 80 cents on the SPY and come to the 427 so I can get a nice risk reward. Because right now, I don't want to get calls because it can still go another $1 down. But we'll see. We'll see what it does here.
Looks like my people in the chat know about my Pollo Tropical. The Troppy Chop with the pineapple sauce. Ooh, now you're talking, Global. I'm thinking food today. That's how you know it's not a fun market for me today.
Yeah, I'm definitely having a tough time out here. But you've got NE, though, that's made about a 12-cent move since those options came in. And that's the great thing about it, right? Is like when you see these options coming in, you can just kind of quickly scalp them. Obviously, it's not 100% type trade, but typically other traders see the same thing that I'm seeing, and they may try to scalp it as well. So it's kind of like everyone's trying to rush and get in. So.
All right, guys. Do you want to put out in the chat here? Someone asked us, can you guys use a white background? I'm actually open a poll. I'm gonna open a poll with this. See what you guys think. If you guys like the white background or not, I mean,
Where's Spencer,
let
by
me
the
know.
way? Is
Well,
he off today?
Spencer, I don't know if you've heard the news, but my man caught the vid. So he's at home right now. He's on quarantine, and we're giving a little bit of a break. He still did pre-market prep. He's still going to be working all day. That guy never stops. So I don't expect him to take a day off. I told him to take a day off, that I could handle it for him. But
Hey, Spencer's
I mean,
a workaholic, man. Hope
you know how that goes. I mean,
he
I
gets
think
well soon.
Zunaid, I think you could say that really about everyone at Benzinga. I don't think there's really someone at Benzinga that isn't a workaholic.
Yeah.
And so if you can find them for me, because I want to
Dude,
see
the
their strategy.
craziest one for me is Michael Murray, and I tell him all the time. I mean, that dude will work hours and then go to the gym and then come back to the office. I'm like, dude, it's like 10 o'clock. Go home.
So I left the office last night to go have dinner with Jonathan from the onboarding team. Michael Murray was still here.
Yeah.
I showed up to the office an hour early this morning, and Michael Murray was already here.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, man. Him and Luke. Like Luke, obviously, you know, I get it. He's obviously been there so long. He's more invested in things like that. But Michael Murray, my guy. He was on vacation and he got on a conference call with me. And I was like,
he's not on vacation. He's not on vacation. Here. So
no, he was. See, look at this.
There he is.
We were talking about how hard you work, how you're always in the office.
I was just talking you up, and I was like, dude, this guy will work, go to the gym, come back, and be at the office. And I'll be like, why are you at the office at 10 o'clock?
I heard Ryan through the wall talking about how he came in earlier than me this morning.
No. I said that you were here first.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I thought
he said he came in an hour early, and you were already there.
Back to work. Happy trading.
See, not only does he work hard, but he's got ears like a bat, man. He can hear movement rooms over. It's just
I just got a good idea that we need to ask Jason. This is how you know this is that kind of day. Even the chat's enjoying it here. Careful with the workaholics. You mistake movement for achievement. Get caught on the stationary bike. Where's the Peloton in the office?
Oh, man.
There you go.
Where's the Peloton?
There you go. You get Jason, a Peloton there. I might have to tell Jason.
Drop it in there.
No.
I heard they were getting new chairs. They need the Peloton in there.
The Peloton's kind of a chair with a bike attached to it.
There you go, right? All right, guys, catching up with the chat. I did see someone talk about LUCID, so I'll take a look at LUCID for you. Let's see what we're seeing. We did see a bounce back in LUCID, but this is one of those that is also just stuck in the chop. Now, one thing I do like is that it is trying to start holding the 200-day moving average. We're finally getting the 200-day moving average because, you know, the stock hasn't traded for that long, really. Just about to make a year, I think. The first tick I have is actually we just made over a year, so it looks like we're finally getting into that. First tick I had was September 18th, and I remember when I called this one out in December last year. Underneath 10, can it hold this level 24, get back above, pushing towards 25? We've seen multiple tries to get through that 27.85 level. That's the level that it just struggles. It cannot get through that 28. I don't know if there's a big seller up there, if someone has seen the price action and seen a seller step up there, but definitely that's where the line in the sand draws for the breakout.
Yeah, and you've got SPY trying to come back.
Did anyone trade GROM, by the way? I see Webcoin all over it. There was no news. It's halted. So it really just kind of going crazy today. Did anyone trade this? This would have been a nice one.
I did not.
Yeah, I missed this one. This actually came on my scanner a little late.
White background would kill the vibes.
I've been seeing a lot of back and forth about this. I'll be honest, I can't stand white backgrounds. It is absolutely painful on my eyes. I'm absolutely willing to listen. If you guys say that it's easier for you to see on YouTube, I do not understand that at all.
It's in the chat there. You guys throw it up.
The black backgrounds, the darker backgrounds are so much easier to see. What am I missing here?
I mean, I don't really know. You know, one time, I'll show you guys what I used to do. for a while, I traded like this. This is the interesting one. The
If
white,
you put like a line green, I'm gonna curse you out. Oh
white.
God.
Oh well, not the. Let's so the colors. Let's go price style. There you go. That's what I'm gonna look at. One color or net change, and then I did white for green and like literally black or gray for red candles. Take off the coloring for the charts. Why I did this for a while is because I felt I was getting way too emotional. And this was back when I was doing a lot of day trading. And I felt that green and red started affecting my emotions. So like, let's say for LUCID here, you just see it going up and you see more of the pattern. Your eyes don't get so focused on, is it green? Is it red? You just focus more on the levels. So some traders actually do this. They actually trade more of a white and gray charts, or they'll change it to one color or something like that, or go to a line. This is, I mean, all based on personal opinion, whatever you guys like. But I did enjoy when I traded like this, because I wasn't so focused on, oh man, that was a big green bar. White doesn't really give me that same emotional effect and psychological effect as green and red. And I think this is why brokers introduced green and red in the first place, because it actually creates the psychology that makes you want to trade. Because green and red psychologically means go and stop, right? At least that's what I would think. And so that's one of the things that I've tried to like get around the emotions of trading, or try to focus on some things. You got to play around with it. I've been trying to day trade and swing trades for 6 years now. So it wasn't until the 4th year until I really got my profitability and got all the losses back. So stay in the fight out there, guys. If you guys are battling, that's the one thing I definitely give you guys, is stay in the fight.
Not like that. And by the way, real quick, SPY is at VWAP. So I'm going to take a quick trade here. And I will say this, guys and gals, I'm completely trying to figure out what this market's going to do. So I'm just taking risk reward type trades. I went ahead and took a short on SPY. The 429 calls got filled at $1.31. Stop loss will be about 430. But that's just, if it goes above VWAP, then I'll go ahead and get out of it. But I had someone in the chat either say that I was irritated, but I was irritating. I didn't know what they meant. But
hey, it's just one of those days. It's a struggle. Whenever you see volatility, what does it usually bring? It usually brings that feeling of illogical markets, because we like to trade off of logic, right? We all want to somewhat create a system that we can follow and be consistent at. But when the market gets choppy like this, and you're just getting chopped out on the bottom side, the top side, whichever side you pick right now, that's when you start really questioning. You're like, man, my system just doesn't work. And that's when you need to go ahead and just calm down. Realize when you're creating a system, it's about like 100 or 1,000 trade sample. It's not a 10 trade sample. This is where I see a lot of traders go back to the analytics and they're like, oh, my system doesn't work. They just throw it out. They're just like, it's done. It's done. It's not going to work anymore, just because 5 trades go against them. So the one thing I talked about, and I've done an actual video about this, is the waves of trading and the waves of your P&L. Know when your waves are going down, and you just want to kind of smooth those out, limit the risk. Then when you're coming back up through the river, when the trends are starting to hold, you're seeing continuation patterns. That's when the river's flowing. That's when it's time to get risk on.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I was literally looking at my P&L percentages or whatever on CD Ameritrade, and like anytime there's no like straight up, right? Like you always have like your waves, you go up, you go down, exactly. Whatever. And it's, I'll go ahead and show it again. Yeah, you got to kind of be careful. Like, hey, when you get those down days, you got to make sure you don't FOMO or try to double down and try to get it right back, because it is tough when you're losing a certain amount of money that, say you're on a 2-day win streak, but then one day you go ahead and lose whatever you made the past 2 days. It is tough to mentally stay in the game, but that's where you got to take a step back, go on a walk, literally or figuratively, and stop trading for a day or so. But yeah.
So one thing I see in the chat is, yeah, we were talking more about the background. So like, let's say the poll you're seeing is more along to kind of get the actual color of the grid to white. So it would look more like this, but I don't know if I could handle that, guys.
Yeah. Real quick, I went ahead and got out half of my position here at $1.89 on the SPY puts. The rest I'm gonna hold, and keep in mind, I'm only doing this because now I'm like almost break even, but I'm only doing this because I want to kind of have it test the lows again near 427.50s. I have no clue if it will or not, but I got a nice entry right at the rejection of VWAP. So the rest I'll probably hold till I go break even. But just a heads up though, got out at half at $1.90. And, you know, since just want to explain it for the folks that might just be joining us, if you have my chart up, let me know. Perfect. It looks like you do.
Sir.
So, yeah, the reason I went ahead and got in on this is simply because of the rejection of VWAP right over here. This is the 1 minute. And we oftentimes talk about how you can go long if there's strength in the stock off of VWAP, or you can short it near VWAP, looking for that rejection. And that's exactly what happened. We often talk about that risk reward. So for me, this is where I'm going to go ahead and go short. And right above this green candle is where I'm going to go ahead and get out in case I'm wrong, right? So you see how nicely it worked out and it paid. And if it didn't, I probably would have lost maybe 10 cents or so if it continued to go. But the fact that it went ahead and dipped gave me about, what was it? I think 50 cents or so. And now it's going to try to come back. So same thing, if it kind of tests a VWAP here again, I'll load up some shorts again. And if it breaks it, cool, I'm out. If it doesn't, I go ahead and follow the same plan. But we'll see what happens here. So far, it's working out because I did get short near VWAP. Just wanted to explain why, and not just, like you said, Mitch, have people just follow the trade but not understand why we took it in the first place.
Definitely always got to know why you took it in the first place. And one of the things that when you look back at your trades is, and this is common, you're going to try to look at it as I made a right and wrong decision, when really it's just decision making. That's what trading is all about. It's not about being right or wrong, because if you view it like that, I can tell you right now, the emotions are going to kill you in this game. But what it is about learning how to make trading decisions and improving your decision making, so that when you make that decision, there's no ifs, ands, or what could happen. No, you're taking it based off of a system and basing off of pure execution of that system. And if it comes back into your favor, the market went my way, probability went my way. If it doesn't, then just the market just didn't go in your favor. And that doesn't mean that you were wrong, but that does mean that at the end of the day, that you stick to your rules, your stop out, and you get out at that level. That's execution. That's trading, guys.
SDC, Smile Direct Club, right on 6. Things look to be turning around here. TQQQ turning around. Market looks like it, or the SPY looks like it's turning around a little bit. So let's see if we can actually hold this and make another move up here.
All right, I'm going to go in between here for my people that wanted my white background. How's this one for you? The gradient, blue and black.
You guys are still trying different backgrounds. That's awesome.
I love messing with the backgrounds. I actually used to do it all the time, so I can't blame you. I mean, there's certain people that do it for branding, right?
I went ahead and got the puts again at $1.06. I'm going to go ahead and stop out at 95 cents most likely. So I'm risking about 10 cents. Just a heads up.
All right, time to catch up with the chat. Seeing out there, what did you guys do today? If you guys had a green trade, red trade that you guys want to bring up, whichever way,
and
go ahead and mention it in the chat.
Cool. So that second time where I went ahead and took a trade, right? I lost 10 cents on it. But what I made on that initial trade was about 50 cents. So it's all about kind of like that risk reward, if you will. And we'll see what happens here. I'm going to be very upset if it just comes smacking on down as soon as it stopped me out. But anyway, just wanted to show why that risk reward worked out there. Even though I lost one trade and I won one trade, I still got paid 4x my risk.
There you go. That's how you do it. That's risk management for you right there.
Yep. Netflix. I mean, Netflix has been really, for the past 5-10 minutes or so, just kind of been bolting on up. I did get stopped out of this one on the second half of my trade. I did get stopped out when it broke VWAP here initially. I did not re-enter. Slight regret on my end, as it is now probably going to go towards the 640. What I will do is if it consolidates above 640, I will probably take it around 641, looking for a push towards 650. But I needed to consolidate. That way I have a nice base of where my risk would be and all of that good stuff there. Yeah, market just said, woohoo.
Yeah, this is what you call the choppy chop type of market. Look at that, guys.
Now here's the thing, right? It's gonna SPY is obviously, if it's gonna continue, like it's got a really, really nice green candle right now. If you're gonna try to look to short, like if you don't believe in this, right here around 431 or so, is where you want to try to go, right? Because that's where you can possibly see a double top and have it kind of fail. But I mean, so far the volume's been great. Look at that candle. It's been really nice. Not saying this is something that I will take, but just in terms of having a tough time break previous high might be something that folks may want to take a look at.
All right, so definitely keep your eyes on those Bitcoin stocks as we're getting the market to tinily flip back around. See if those start going in the direction you're looking at the pre-market. This is when I start going and looking at deeper time frames, especially if you're stuck on the 1 minute. You're getting towards that 10:30 time. Just make sure that you're taking a deeper trend approach where you know, hey, this is still in a bullish trend. This is still in a bearish trend overall. I'd be paying attention to a lot of stocks now. We're starting to see a reversal also in the Qs. Qs are starting to push back. It actually pushed already through the highs. So look for tech to kind of help us lead us up. And if you look at the sectors, what do you see? Technology up, the highest from the change from the open, actually the only one in the green from the open. And so for sure, I'd be looking into the tech sector for the upside moves. And then you can start looking at capitalization and seeing, let's look at some of the biggest movers. Microsoft, look how that just pushed on up. That's why I look at sector to industry, then go into your stocks, right? So right now you're seeing software application as one of the leading industries and software infrastructure. So look for those stocks to be moving on this way up. Palantir, let's look to see it catch a bid right here. If these all stocks are doing well, I would actually look for Palantir to catch the bid right here and maybe hold towards a low that you're seeing on the chart. Not a bad looking attempt. If it gets back above VWAP, it could just change the pattern that we're holding right now.
BT looks like it might have a trade here through 1180 with this move. BT through 1180, kind of waiting for that spot to fall. We'll see.
Interesting trade there also. One that is moving today, Hood. The Robin Hood, guys.
Man, Robin Hood.
It finally pushed off the 40 level. This one had been stuck sideways for a long time, really near that 40 level. Now you're starting to push back up there. Can we get back towards 46.74? We'll see what happens in this one. Definitely pushing on up today. Nice VWAP hold from the push. VWAP now extending up there towards 42.60. Keep it on your radar, guys. The Hood.
And VYGR through 380. Keep that in mind too. This one had news this morning. Huge pre-market pop. We've given some of that back. I do think it looks like we found the intraday downside spot here at 360. So a 380 snap here. I actually think we trade back up towards 4. Tons of volume in this too. This should be liquid enough for you to get in and out of without an issue at all. Here we are in 380. There goes 380. Can't hold above 380. Big pull. And I'm still looking around. My scanner's been quiet this morning, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Hasn't been fun. I'm still looking at this SPY chart here, looking to see if it breaks high of day or not.
You can't print money? Oh, man. I was about to buy an HP printer. Who has printers anymore?
I almost got one about a month and a half ago just because there's some documents that, like, I have to print and stuff like that. And I was
Isn't
like,
it funny how that used to be a standard? If you got a computer, you had
you would
a
have desks that would have like a printer space.
Yeah, they literally had that little spot.
Computer bundles would come with printers. They would try to sell you on bundling up a printer.
You got to know when the times are changing, right?
I still have mine and it's out of ink. And honestly, I'm wondering if I should even replace it. I'm just like, what am I going to do this for? Like, what am I going to print something for?
I wish there was like a graveyard of printers.
Go all office space on them with a bat. It's just so
you just see 1,000 printers, actually. Just everyone just going there, just tossing it over the back. All right, guys, let's go ahead. I'm going to start trying to call out some movers that are starting to get into the green here. Just looking at the SPY here, this stock here, Vulcan Materials. I don't really know too much. VMC holding support really well there at 172.50. We'll see if it gets through 173.25. VRTX, look at this one. This is a pharmaceutical company making a nice lift on up there, and really holding trend. And you look at the speed that it's made its move on up, it's actually really holding well there. eBay pushing today, man. I didn't expect to see that. I don't know if there's any news in Benzinga Pro. I can take a look here, but I'm going to keep going through the stocks here. Nice little push there for eBay. We'll see if this can come back up. It's definitely coming off a daily support. Looking interesting, really.
Mitch, no news, but several put sweeps listed in our news feed here. So several put sweeps picked up by our signals tool. It's definitely trading up here. So not sure what that's made of yet.
Yeah, not sure at all there. Let's keep going. ICE, Intercontinental Exchange, Financial Data and Stock Exchange. I don't even know this one. Do you know this one, Ryan?
No.
I feel like I should.
Yeah, me too.
We'll have to do a little bit more research. Look at this one.
There
this
goes
is
the
one.
highs.
Take Two Interactive Softwares, TTWO. They're coming up there to 164. And what area is it in? It's in electronic gaming and multimedia. Calling out the SPY.
Logo sweeps.
Yep, there it is. Look at the push. All right, so now for me, I would start looking at more of like an hourly look. So we were worried about that 426, right? We went right back to it. The low was actually 427.54. So to me, I don't even want to see that breakdown. So we had another low in the pre-market that was 427.42. So right near each other at that 50 mark. I don't want to see that 50 mark break. 27.50s on the downside. If that happens, I would start trading to the downside. If from here on out, if we can get up through 436, we'll look really bullish on the SPY, because now you got what? 3 daily lows near the same level. Always got to look at those levels. There's levels to this game. My man, my man knows it. There's levels to this game, and you got to know them.
And we are seeing some things pop, right? So we're seeing the SPY come up off the lows, and we're seeing some of these other names pop. So if this holds up for the rest of the day, you could absolutely have some spec plays in some of these names.
BA being called out in the chat, not one of my favorites, but it is catching a bid right there on the hourly. I don't know. I'm actually a big bear in Boeing, but I don't know why I'm such a bear in Boeing. Sometimes I have to ask myself the question. Sometimes when you see yourself just being against the company, try to figure out why. You know what I mean? For me, I just don't see Boeing as being the I don't see them being the airplane leader, at least manufacturer, in the next 20 years. I actually think you're going to start seeing it going away from Boeing, but that's just me.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'll take the other side of that trade, Mitch.
There you go. That's what it's about.
I completely disagree with you. I don't think Boeing is going anywhere. I think that they are tied in with the U.S. military as well.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, Boeing is add-on dips, add-on weakness.
Hey, there's a reason why I asked myself the question. So there you go. Lisa's bear with me. At least we'll see what happens. If you guys are a bear or bull in Boeing, let's throw it up in the chat. Bull, put 1. Bear, put 2. All right. Next one that was mentioned that they wanted to take a look at was BABA. Is it finally finding support here? Second day that it starts pushing back. So definitely you're seeing, I think some people try to take this. 140.50s where it kind of held today and really reclaimed that level. Now we're going to see if 144 holds. For me, that's what I'd be paying attention to. But definitely getting a bounce back. Not a bad trade. I mean, we're talking about a stock that's retraced massively, but still has a lot of pressures from China and what's going to happen there in BABA.
Something else I wanted to point out. So that SPY, the SPY puts. No, sorry. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up the chart.
You're
here.
good.
So these are the levels, right? It didn't break. It broke that high of day, but didn't quite break it with volume. Obviously, just a wick on the 5-minute. So the puts that I have right now, I'm a little bit indecisive if I want to kind of sell it here for a small profit, or if I want to see if it'll go and test a VWAP. Because ideally, I'm like, hey, you want to go test a VWAP real quick? Go test that 430 level and see what you think about it.
It sounded like you were trying to take that stock out on a date right there. I'm not going to lie. You want to go test VWAP for a little bit? Did you want to go test VWAP? Zunaid, I didn't know what to make of that right there. You kind of caught me off guard. I was like, what on earth is
You're right. You're right. Maybe I was a little too kind to the lady who I guess the market being the lady that's got me a little bit red on the day today.
Well, I also think that you have a very good voice for that, right? You have a deep, good announcer's voice for that. So when you said that, it hit me.
There you go.
Nate's
I appreciate
the stock
you.
out. Let's go.
Well, yeah. So let's see, right? I mean, usually folks are long, so maybe she thinks I want the same thing. I don't know, but anyway, looking to see what happens here. By the way, we had a stock yesterday that we had breaking news on, and that's GROM. We had a news on them. I can go ahead and check exactly what it was.
So that's been halted to the upside and the downside already today.
Yes, it has.
It's not halted right now. Just be careful with this. This is a little too rich for my blood.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to point it out, though, the fact that we had, exclusive news on it about how they were in the development of a new original franchise slated for global theatrical distribution called The Pirate Princess. And looks like the market finally caught up on the news today. So the stock went from about $3.40 all the way up to about almost $6. $5.90 was the high, it looks like, today. So I just want to point that out there.
Yeah, from the high, you're talking about an 80.6% move, $2.63. Not a bad looking trade there. Really rocketed on up. One of the things I like is this did the ABCD pattern where you get an A lift. This right here. This is kind of the A period. Then you get that B period where it just launches off that, gets that second wave up. You get another trade here. Then you get the C period where it did another little kind of pattern here. Then you get that big rip on up. A lot of times going into that fourth wave, you're going to see pullbacks at least. And so we get that fourth wave and then we start breaking back down. Now you're in the 1, 2, 3s. So if you guys kind of, I've been studying more harmonics. So this is kind of a clear example of that, where you get that kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. The way that they call that is it's on the up is the 1 and on the pullbacks is a 2. So if you think about it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this wave right here is where you see that last exertion. Expect a pullback after that fourth wave. There's very rare stocks that after a fourth wave up, they're going to give you that fifth wave up, sixth wave up, seventh wave up. Eventually, you're going to get some pullback. So that's what I'd be looking for here. 15 minutes is a good chart to look for those pullbacks. And I mean, then it looks kind of good right here. It looks like a nice little bull flag.
Real quick, looks like talking nice and sweet will turn to be working out so far. I'm going to go ahead and get half out here at $1.33 on the puts. The rest of it, I am going to kind of wait and see what happens, because this 430 area, I have no idea if it's just going to bounce from here and go. But ideally, so I'm out half. The other half, I'll go ahead and get out probably around this area right here, like the 429s. And then the rest, I'll just wait and see if it, has a tough day. But I did want to point out the puts that I did go ahead and get out of. And the reason is simply because of this area of resistance right here. I'm not saying it's a double top, because it's not just yet, but area of resistance, I felt like the risk reward was there and it worked out so far, but we'll see what happens.
Kelly,
SPY kind of turning back over. We had a nice little push up, taking a little bit of a break now. We'll see if this continues. Just more chop. We've talked about it a lot so far. October's been a chop fest.
All right, guys, we're getting towards now 10:40. I've kept Zunaid and Ryan over by 10 minutes. I don't mind if they hang out with me. They can hang out here all until we get off, but I just want to go ahead and give them a chance to kind of recap their days. If you guys are seeing anything, what kind of environment do you guys are thinking we have in the market right now? I think that's where let's go ahead and do a little bit of a recap here, at least from my trading. And today I didn't really take any trades, probably because guess what, guys? I was trying to catch the dip on Monday, and that's how it happens. So I got some stop outs that I had to take the stop out, even though I didn't want it to become a day trade for me. And I was more swing trading these. When the risk hits, and I'm out. And if that's what it takes, and now I can't trade, then hands off and I can relax and not put pressure on myself. That's what it's about. And sometimes you're not going to always have that outside of the PDT rule to just keep trading. So know what works best for you. For right now, hands down, sitting on it. What do you got? What happened to you guys?
So as far as day trades go, I'm 0 for 1 today. I'm kind of dialing it back in terms of the aggressiveness here. We are seeing a chop fest here in the market. I'm still looking for relative strength, like we talked about at the top of the show here. But I would like some of this chop to kind of simmer down. I don't think that we have a very clear direction yet. And again, I tried to play the TCAT, the spec play, and the Bitcoin move. So I'm going to be watching Bitcoin as well, just to kind of see where we keep going with that, just under 55K. But yeah, we're going to watch the market, watch the broader indices here and see if we can actually determine a direction. And I'm also going to keep my eye on Bitcoin.
Zunaid.
Yeah, definitely a red day for me today. Tried to go long when the market was saying, I didn't recognize it. But thankfully, because of risk reward, it's not like I took a big loss, and because of the puts. And then I also flipped that mentality, right? Obviously, I was long, I lost money. And then whenever the SPY was near VWAP, I went ahead and changed my mentality and tried to figure out the best reward situation based on what the market was giving me. And I got some gains back to help with the losses. So message of the day for me: don't be stubborn. If the market is saying something else, listen to it. Don't try to think you're a know-it-all and you know what's best, because you don't.
Yep, the heroes turn to zeros, I always say. It's just part of the game, And if you're out there and you always know that one thing that you always want to do is understand that you're in this for the long run. It's not a short run. If you're trying to become a trader and make this a full-time thing, or even if it's a part-time thing, but you're actually trying to consistently go about the markets, you always got to keep that in mind, that there's another day and another opportunity to play.
And it's important to keep yourself in the game so that you can continue to do that. Don't let yourself,
when you're a beginner.
Don't let yourself get wiped out early. And on days like today, where things are swinging back and forth, there's a higher chance of that happening. So be careful. Limit your position size if you have to. That's always worked for me when things aren't working out well. And then just try to get a feel for it. This too shall pass. And you're going to have to learn to lose before you learn to win. Got to learn how to handle those losses.
Yeah. And I know we had some folks in the chat earlier that were talking about Benzinga Pro and how you can do the trial just to track it, right? Here's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Just so we can properly track it, I went ahead and posted the link. I am a mod, so hopefully it went through. Mitch, you let me know if it did or not. You can go ahead and sign up for a 2-week free trial right there. And what I'll do is anyone that goes ahead and signs up for Benzinga Pro trial today, we'll put you in a little drawing just to get you like a $10 Amazon gift card or something like that. And that's why we have that specific link, just so we know exactly who signed up today and things like that, because we do want folks to check out the value of Pro. And then are we trading on Friday? I know tomorrow's all access. Yeah.
Let me confirm that. Give me 2 seconds. Let me check my calendar. Just make sure that if we're not going to be on.
The only reason I say that is because I know Ryan uses Pro and he's a master at it better than I am. And he can kind of show folks tips and tricks as they use Pro as well, so they can get a little bit more accustomed to it.
Yeah, excellent.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. So what's going to happen is Thursday, tomorrow, we're actually going to not be on, guys. I know. I want to cry about that too. Don't worry.
We'll be back, though. We'll be back.
Hit us up in the comments after, letting them know, Benzinga, we need live trading with Ryan, with Zunaid, with Mitch. We need them. Let's go ahead. Let us know. And guess what? You can turn them around. Let them know. Push on them. All right, but definitely.
And you know, one more thing. One of the things that's happened for this show since we've started this is we've started to get a nice little following here in the chat. That means there's more eyeballs. There's more people in here shouting out names of things that are moving throughout the course of the day, giving us more opportunity. All of you viewers are making this better for everybody. So absolutely hit that like, hit that subscribe, and let's keep growing it.
All right, we'll continue to watch, and then on Friday we'll be back with live trading here. So we do have live trading on Friday. Just tomorrow we'll be missing out, but like always, we'll stay at it. And if you want to hit us up, you guys see our tags right here. Let me just take off the link there so you can see our tags. You can hit us up on Twitter at any point in time. I'm sure any of us will go ahead and take a look at something for you. Or if you have a question, try to give you the best opinion that we have. You know, we're not experts, and I don't consider us experts. But one thing that I do consider us is passionate about the market, whether it be Zunaid, Ryan, or I. We try to learn the market every single day and always trying to improve our skills. So we'll try to help you out there. All right, guys, that's going to probably do it for at least our trading side. Now I'm going to go ahead. We got about 15 minutes till we get towards SPAC's Attack. We're going to have an interview on SPAC's Attack. So if you guys want to stick around, definitely stick around. We're going to be getting into car connected data. It's going to be pretty interesting. Looks like we got a visitor, Ryan, who's in the house.
We do. We got Andrew Weiss from the Pro Team in the house saying what's up.
Oh, what's up, buddy? Hey, Andrew. Hey,
We're
give
live
Andrew
right
the headset.
there, right here. Here,
give Andrew the headset real quick.
Yeah, put him on, dude.
Give him the headset real quick.
It's okay. You're being requested, my man.
Hey, I want you to know. I promoted Benzinga Pro. I put a 2-week trial. I hope you're proud of me.
That's big. How many people signed up? How many people got in there?
Well, I told them that once they signed up, we'd give them like a $10 Amazon gift card drawing or something like that. So it's in the chat. We'll see how many people sign up, and we'll give them $10 Amazon gift card or something like that.
I'll give them some Benzinga swag. Email me. aweiss@benzinga.com.
Hey, Weiss, you guys got
we'll
that
let
out
him
there.
know.
Where do I type?
It doesn't. This is not
Mitch.
Mitch,
All right.
Mitch. Well, we'll get it to the
I
chat.
got
Don't
you.
worry.
I'll get it to the chat. No worries.
All right, everyone. Have a good day.
Hey, these two right there, those two right there.
Yeah, the whole Pro Team in the house here.
That's the Pro Team right there, guys. If there's two leaders in the Pro Teams that we watch every single day, and I don't know what happened to Ryan there, he got booted out. But if there's any two that we definitely push on, we push on Ryan, we push on Wes. They definitely get us to the next level. So if you guys don't know who these guys are, these are the personalities behind Benzinga and really what keeps us going, right, Zunaid? I mean, At the end of the day, these guys are the guys who, if you want to call and talk to about your Benzinga Pro, call them up, because they'll definitely give you guys the answers and help you through it. Whether it be, let's say you're going through struggling times and you need to figure out an alternative. Hey, I can't pay Pro this time, but I need to still get some data. What can you guys do for me? That's one thing that we're definitely working on. We're trying to help you guys out there, and we're trying to understand our users. So if you guys have an issue or anything, you guys need to talk to us, give us a call. We're more than willing to answer and hear you out, and then we'll go ahead and try our best approach after that level. But I know that they're definitely working on that to keep you guys going, because we're all trying to stay in the market.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. Matter of fact, in a few minutes here, we're going to have a call about how we can better improve Pro and all that stuff. But yeah, one last thing, drop the link there. If you go ahead and win, I'll connect you guys to Weiss, or I'll go ahead and connect to Aaron Bree, and we'll get you the swag out there. But the link is in the chat. Mitch, I appreciate you, man. Have fun with that interview. I'm interested with that interview, by the way, especially because with data, we're driving so many places, we have so many different stops, and you can kind of track all that. And that's such a huge database for companies to use to their advantage. So I'm sure that'll be an interesting interview that you have coming up.
Without a doubt. All right, guys, that's probably going to do it for Zunaid. We'll see you guys next time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hold it down here until we get to SPAC's attack. I'll probably leave about 2 minutes before 11 to get you guys on to SPAC's attack, because guess what? I got to go host that too. So I'm going to get you guys on over there. So it looks like there was talks about when David will be back. DG does Monday and Tuesdays. Usually he comes here on Wednesdays to give us a little bit of a wrap up. That's why they might have told you that David was going to be back today. But David does more of this scalping strategy. It's all about personality, right? Some of us are going to be more about scalping. Some of us are going to be more about some longer term plays. Some of us are going to be about YOLO options. What we're trying to do is give you all the different types, not just one type. Because if it's just one type, I mean, then we're just doing it for just you. But really, I mean, we're doing it for everybody. Everyone needs to find their personality, what they trade like, and to get the best. So when is the next time? The next time you'll see DG. DG will be on Monday. That'll be the next time you'll see DG. Friday, we'll be back here with live trading with Ryan and Zunaid. So definitely give us a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this. And first of all, breathe, because I know the market out there has been tough. Right now, I'm taking a look at the SPY. We're seeing what we're going to happen if we're going to finally push out of this kind of trend that we had. 15 minutes kind of shows us a trend that we're trying to get out of. We've been holding the VWAP. Will we get out of this trend? That's what I'm trying to see. Right now, we're kind of just stuck here. We've been chopping around in the market, went up, went down, went up, went down. Let's see if we can finally break out through this and continue our upside move, and we'll see what happens. Overall sectors, technology is the only one I'm seeing in the green, and from the open about 0.7%. So that's probably where you're going to see some strength. Other than that, you're seeing red in consumer defensive, consumer cyclical, and really down. I mean, you got basic materials down 2%, energy down 2.68%. Some of these names really getting destroyed. I mean, let's take a look here how Gush is doing. Gush is probably getting destroyed. There you go. MRO had made a big move on up. As you're seeing it pull back here. Oil had been ripping lately, so maybe drip is on a good trade today. Looks like a good day trade, starting to push up there to 580s. We'll keep an eye out on this. But definitely, even when consumer defensives can't even get into the green on a red day or a sideways day, it's kind of interesting that we're seeing this, because the SPY is starting to come up. But if you look at it overall on the market, we're still holding red in a lot of the sectors. So it's still a kind of, for me, risk off moment. I'm just keeping my hands up, and we'll see what happens. You always had my thumbs up. I appreciate it, Joe. That's what it's all about. Support us as we support you guys. I just don't like the cheap stocks on this show. What do you mean the cheap stocks on this show? I mean, I don't trade many cheap stocks. I trade like stocks like LUCID, trade stocks like CCL. I trade mainly mid caps. So, I mean, we're not really small cap here focused, but I mean, some of them will be known because, I mean, if we talk about a stock like CEI, I mean, of course, that's just a high hype kind of name. But hey, it is what it is. We try to do what we best. Definitely not a penny trader here. I don't think any of us are penny traders, but we'll see what happens. Let's keep going. HBO Max, prequel to the Game of Thrones, story for the T. One of the things is, let's take a look at AMC. This is a stock that I actually called out earlier in the week. Got stopped out, guys. I was looking for this kind of $36, $37 to hold. And when it kind of came back, I ended up getting out of this name, looking for it to come back. And I've been watching this kind of reaction because in my eyes, you know, the movie theaters have kind of actually gotten into a little bit of a better standing, I think, with consumers, because as we get further and further away from COVID, I'm expecting more consumers to take the chance to get back into the movie theaters. So in the long run, I think AMC might really catch a bid here and get back up here. I know that might sound a little crazy, but I am getting to the point where I could see the upside in AMC. I have called it before when it has made a move from about 31 up there to 45, almost 50, but we'll see if it can get back up there and start trending again. All right, guys, probably going to do it for us. We're getting towards that 1055. That's where I'm going to go ahead and get towards SPAC's attack, get you over towards the next trade. A lot of stuff under 10 gets mentioned. Thank you for letting me know. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the feedback that we want to hear. We want to make sure that you guys are giving us feedback and that we listen. So appreciate you bringing that up. And that's what it's all about. Love your chart analysis. Hey, just trying to do my best to show you guys what I see and literally just be transparent. I'm going to tell you how I see it. If it's not there, it's not there. And that's what it's all about. Like always, guys, we're all about kind of showing you guys education. This is not for trading or investment advice. This is only for informational purposes only. Opinions do not represent those of Benzinga, and hosting guests may maintain positions in the securities discussed. So definitely we'll keep at it. We'll keep battling. Mitch, IMAX and Cinemark doing better. 100%. Good call out. Easy. I was actually talking about this. How Cinemark had been doing really well. CNK, look how this has been doing the last week, and everyone's paying attention to AMC, but not paying attention that in 1.4 months, you've had about a 30% move in CNK. IMAX, another one that's been moving on up. If you look, boom, about a 1.4 month move, $5.68, 36% move there in IMAX. You got to always look at the other ones. All right, guys, let's keep going. What's going on out there? First out the door, entertainment like LYN. I think you were talking about Live Nation. Live Nation, LYV. I think that's the one you were trying to bring up there. We'll see what happens with this one. This one's been really pushing on up. We'll see if it gets through 100. Tried to get through 100 today. And when it got up there, it just faded back down. We'll see if this one can hold above support and start pushing through that $100 price point. This is Live Nation, $100 stock, trying to get it up there to the high one. You're good at TA? Hey, man, honestly, TA isn't everything. I'll tell you guys, I am studying to do my CMT, which is my Chartered Market Technician. I've been really looking forward towards that, studying every weekend on my technicals. And one of the things that I try to do is combine a 3-variable approach, the story, the fundamentals, and the technicals, because I've learned that I don't only want to trade off the technicals. I want to be with the right stories and the fundamentals. And so what this gives me is a higher probability to get into the green. Now, I do think that technicals do work, but I don't agree with just using only technicals in a trade unless you're doing like really short-term day trading. I kind of understand why you don't pay attention to the story as much, but I still want to pay attention to the story because I want to be trading with the hot stocks and not just any stock, like just picking it out of the random. All right, just seeing a bottoming forming and dividend to lean on, just my opinion, and you know what those are worth. Yeah, they're opinions, like always. I mean, that's what it's all about. All right, catching up with the chat. T is dead. I think that's what you guys are talking about, AT&T, and that's how it goes. Short is losing money. Hey, it doesn't always mean – I mean, I've made some good money on shorts. I just usually do quick trades on shorts. All right, exactly. Crypto, I have the same support. There you go. Looks like EA, $10 drop. Let's go ahead and take a look here at EA. Ooh, yeah, definitely getting destroyed. EA, Electronic Arts. As you guys know, this is a gaming maker, and I know that we're going to come out with FIFA really soon. One thing that I can tell you, last year was a awesome gaming environment. I'm not so sure this year. I just don't think this is going to be a monster gaming environment. And with that being said, you got to be careful with that kind of market. You just don't know where it's heading. And I mean, when you don't know where it's heading, you just got to be careful there. All right, catching up with the chat here. If you guys had a major mover or want to talk about it, let me know in the chat there. Looks like I got to go ahead and check on something here. Let me go ahead and put this up here. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys, catching up with the chat. What's going on out there? People have to be inside for gaming. Hey, that could be it. I mean, when you take a look at Activision was really the one. Activision was the one that really brought us down on this one. Has been coming back a little bit here as we kind of see this right here, 77.55. The question is, do we come back through that 81 or do we break down through the 75 on this? Sony was one that was on my radar for a nice push through 100. But as you can see, it pushed on up, came on up there towards about September 27th. But since that has already pulled back a good 12%. So we'll see what happens with Sony. It's not looking like it wanted to continue that breakout, and it turned back around. Catching in the chat, Tesla breaking resistance. Definitely, let's take a look here. Now the 5-minute going up there towards 785, needs to get through to about 790 for it to really start pushing. As we can see, what I would like to use on this is I would use an hourly chart, and I draw a trend line from right here, which was I think the 27th of September. I want this to break through 785 and close above that today for the bullish side look. Uber talking about a bull flag on the daily. Let's take a quick look at that. I got 1059 about to take you to SPAC's attack. This is going to be the last stock of the day, and then we'll get you to the SPAC's attack. Looking at Uber finding a bottom here. I do like that multiple bottom approach here. So now you're talking about 44.50s or maybe even down towards this support right here, about 44.32s. Let's see if that holds and now breaks out through 47.50. I do like the chart. It is looking like it wants to come back up and start pushing through that high. We'll see if it gets on up there, and that's Uber. Definitely, I wouldn't say it's a bull flag. It's kind of more of a bull pennant for me. And the difference between a bull flag and a bull pennant is that the lows are, if the lows are near each other, like you see this low is on the same level, that's how you know the difference that this is a bull pennant versus a flag. If it was a flag, the low would be more down here, and it would be lower lows trying to catch a bid like this. It would be more of a pattern like this. And then so you're looking for the lows there to get a lower lows and then curl back up like that. So that's the difference between a flag and then what you're seeing here, more of a bull pennant. All right, let's go ahead and let's wrap up here. I'm going to bring you guys over to SPAC's attack. The SPAC's attack is going to be on right now. We got an interview with you guys. Stay tuned, guys. I'm really interested to hear about this company. It's a car-connected data company, really going to push into the EV sector, at least I feel, because it's going to be very important. So stick around. We'll take you right on over to that, and we'll see you next time on Live Trading. Tomorrow we'll have all access company presentations, but Friday we'll be back with that. And like always, I want you guys to check out the Cannabis Conference. The Cannabis Conference is going on next week. If you guys haven't heard about it, here's all about it.